Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Zach with Zach Attack Cards, bringing you another exciting edition of ZAKdown. And in this edition, it will be the Elimination Chamber review show. So similar to the Royal Rumble review that we did about a month or so ago now, I guess maybe a little less than that even, to be honest. So maybe 3 weeks or so ago, if you caught that. This is an opening where we will also be going over the pay-per-view results, and I'll basically be giving you my thoughts on them through the titles ranking system that I've come up with. And basically the way it works is thus. So if I give a match one title, that will be a skippable match. It's essentially not the participant's best work. And two titles is about average. I would suggest watching it if there's no other wrestling available to you. If I give a match three titles, that is above average. You should definitely play this one in the background while you're ripping, sorting, all that kinds of stuff. And we have four titles, which is near perfect. Definitely watch this match. Pay attention to this match. And the coveted five titles ranking is perfection. This is absolutely a must-see match. Watch the entrances, watch the match, watch the post-match, all of that kind of stuff. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the opening. And this is my little spoiler alert. So if you don't want to hear all of the results from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, or PLE as they call them now, I suggest turning this off until you have checked it out, and then maybe come back and check out my thoughts. So I will give you guys until I set up my couple little guys here. We got Little Kof helping us out, as usual, and Little Woods. And they're going to try to bring us a little bit of extra luck, along with my Seth Rollins auto. And we're going to be opening a partial box of 2021 Topps Heritage. This is a gorgeous set that I've opened numerous times and even pulled the Seth Rollins auto on the channel. I will be sure to link that video up in the cards if you want to check it out. It's relatively short. And if you want to check out other ZAKdown videos that I've done, there is a playlist on the channel that compiles all of them together. So now this is a partial box where I believe I have 13 packs here, and the box itself is normally 24 packs. So there are 11 packs missing. So hopefully there's at least one hit left, maybe the auto. Who knows? We'll see if we can get a little bit of luck. So without further ado, let's get into the opening and into the review of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view itself. I'm going to continue to call it that because it's been pay-per-view forever. Trying to change to PLE is just so hard. So the first match that went on was the women's Elimination Chamber match. And this was where the winner would get a Raw women's title shot at WrestleMania. And it seems like the winner is going to be going against Bianca Belair. They said numerous times that it was just a Raw Women's Championship match, which, you know, kind of led you to believe that maybe Belair could drop the title before the WrestleMania show, but by the end they were saying that the winner would be going against Bianca Belair. So seems like she will be champion for the next month. So the Elimination Chamber match itself was Liv entering first, and Natalya, they started off. Raquel Rodriguez was then the next to enter. And whoa, look at this. We did get one of the autos. Shotzi Blackheart in the first pack out of 199. All right. So she wasn't exactly involved in the pay-per-view at all, but let's take a quick little break just to get that sleeved up. That is awesome. Love these on-card autos. That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, getting back to the match after that terrific pull. Nikki Cross entered 4th, Carmella 5th, and Asuka 6th. So this was this was a decent match. You know, there was nothing wrong with what the women were doing. It wasn't super captivating, but it definitely had some highlights, some real highlights, such as Nikki Cross leaping off the top of the pod at one point onto, I believe it was Raquel Rodriguez. And another point, Raquel put Nikki Cross through a pod, which looked absolutely brutal, but awesome at the same time. And then you also had Liv delivering a sunset flip powerbomb on Raquel Rodriguez, where Liv came off the top of the pod and delivered the powerbomb to Raquel, who was standing, I forget if she was on the top or the middle rope, might have been the middle rope since she's quite a tall female. So essentially, the match went kind of as expected as well. I mean, it was pretty easy to tell that the match was either going to go towards Liv or towards Asuka, or at least I thought that. And Asuka was the one that ended up getting the victory. I mean, her new persona is super awesome. It's very captivating, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. And I think her and Bianca Belair could absolutely blow the roof off at WrestleMania. The two of them are just very physical, and to my knowledge, haven't really squared off a ton. I think there's some, you know, maybe from the NXT days when Asuka was incredibly dominant. So I think this will be a little bit different. Speaking of which, there she is. And I think that's going to make for a good match. And overall, I would give the women's Elimination Chamber match a 3 titles. I think that it's something that you should check out, just not necessarily pay attention to. Maybe make sure you catch the high spots. So moving on, the next match was Lashley and Lesnar, and the less said about this match, the better. I mean, let's be honest, any match that has Brock Lesnar in it is never going to be a match of the year or even match of the night contender. Not that he's bad. His matches are just seemingly very formulaic. They're always typically very short and very power move based, and there's always a lot of finishers that end up getting kicked out. And this match was really no different. The offense was several spears from Lashley, a couple of F5s from Lesnar. Everything was kicked out of. And really, the end of the match came when Lashley had Lesnar locked in the Hurt Lock, and Lesnar had to go to the low blow in order to basically get out of it. So Lashley wins it by DQ, which I'm quite confused about. I mean, maybe you guys have a better idea of what you think might be happening here. So normally you're not going to end a feud on a DQ, right? So it seemed like this was supposed to be the end of the feud. And then, you know, the winner was going to go on to take on Bray Wyatt in some capacity. I mean, that's what they said on SmackDown with Wyatt and his promo. And I just don't know, you know, is it going to be like a 3-way type of deal with Wyatt just kind of involving himself, or maybe Lesnar's storyline gets what's it called, suspended now so that Lashley can go on to take on Wyatt? I'm just not sure about that. So I gave the match 2 titles. I wouldn't necessarily skip it because it was really just a normal Lesnar match, just something that you're not going to expect a ton of highlights out of. So definitely just the 2 titles. Now, believe it or not, this was kind of the slow point of the show, at least in my opinion, because the next thing that happened was the Edge Beth Phoenix versus Balor and Ripley match. And this match was absolutely filled with issues, just tons of mistiming and some botches here and there. I counted about 3 of them. And not only that, you also had the camera just missing some stuff. Like it was crazy. So Dom at one point passes some brass knucks into his, you know, teammates or whatever you want to call it. And what is this? Collect all 10 Ruthless Aggression art cards. That's pretty cool. But so he passed knucks into his teammates, and the camera completely missed it. They had to show it via replay a few minutes later. I was like, wow, it was just incredible. It just seemed like And really, the camera work all night could have used some work. I would say it was a little lacking here and there, but definitely so in this match. And you just had Dom, you know, mistiming, you know, tripping Beth Phoenix off the top rope. So he had to do it twice, and the camera caught both of those, obviously, so it looked pretty awkward. And there was a couple of others that just really, really stood out. So it was definitely not the best match. Edge and Beth Phoenix ended up getting the win, which I think, again, relatively expected, as I think that will probably draw an end to this whole rivalry that they've had with Edge. But maybe not. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's hard to tell exactly what's going to be going on with the rest of the Judgment Day guys. But we'll see what the future holds. I ended up only giving this match one title. I think it's definitely skippable, because there are times where it was somewhat painful, which is almost painful to say, because I love Edge. I love all the work that he's done since he has come back, and Balor's one of my favorite things that the company has had. And Ripley's work now is just another level too. But this match just didn't have it. Maybe it was just the fact that, you know, Edge and Beth Phoenix don't wrestle all the time, so maybe their timing and coordination with others is a little bit off. Who knows? So just the one title, unfortunately. But now we're getting into the real good portion of the night. There was only 2 more matches. And the penultimate match, as they say, was the men's Elimination Chamber for the United States title. This match was filled with tons and tons of really awesome spots. So, for those that don't know, it was for the U.S. title. Rollins was number 1, Gargano number 2, Austin Theory number 3, Damian Priest number 4, Bronson Reed number 5, and Montez Ford number 6. And there was just countless really awesome spots in this one. So the highlights that I really kind of stuck to and really made my jaw drop was, number 1, Montez Ford does an insane, like, Batman-like drop from the top of the cage onto the entire field, which was incredible. It was something I've never seen before. And it's really something special. You should go out of your way to make sure you at least see that. And then the other spot, which I'm calling the spot of the night, was the Hurricane Rana off the top of a pod. So Gargano was on Rollins' shoulder, and it looked like Rollins was going to deliver a powerbomb off the top of the pod onto the rest of the field. But Gargano turned it into a Hurricane Rana and essentially drove Rollins and himself off the top of the pod. Both guys were, you know, seemingly unscathed, although I think it hurt Gargano a bit more, because it looked like he was supposed to be caught by Damian Priest, and it didn't seem like he was necessarily caught as well as he could have. But you know, he seems okay. From what I've heard, there hasn't been any issues afterwards, but just an incredible spot. Super memorable. Another big important thing that came out of this match is they're keeping Bronson Reed very strong. It took the entire field, tons of super kicks and all kinds of, you know, other madness in order to eliminate him. So it seems like there's good things coming for the returning Mr. Bronson Reed. And really the finish to the match came where Austin Theory got some help from a Logan Paul interference. So Montez Ford got curb stomped onto the outside kind of mat area, you know, the harder part just outside the ring. And so he was, you know, really playing up injured, all that kind of stuff. And that led to the cage door being opened, which Logan Paul then ran down and hopped in and distracted Rollins and beat on Rollins a little bit, even delivered a gorgeous buckshot lariat. I'm not sure what Logan Paul is calling it, if he has a name for it or what have you. But it was really nicely done. And say what you will about Logan Paul, but the guy is athletic as anyone. And so that distraction and everything led to Austin Theory retaining his title over Rollins, and it definitely seems like they are going with Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Kind of seemed that way even before the pay-per-view, since they were playing it all up in different interviews and stuff like that Rollins was giving. So we'll have to see how that match goes. But it'll also be very interesting to see where Austin Theory ends up, right? So he's another guy that he's going to obviously have some sort of match at WrestleMania. So that'll be interesting. Zelina Vega. And that leads us to the main event of the night. You guessed it, obviously, Roman Reigns and... Oh, apologies. Let's go back. I forgot to give the rating on that one. I gave that one 4 titles. I thought it was an awesome match that should definitely be watched. If not just for those few highlights that I pointed out, then, you know, or if anything, for those few highlights. And then definitely the body of the match was good too. So it was captivating. It kept you going the entire way. I mean, once it got to the end, it was kind of easier to see that, you know, Theory was going to retain and see what happens with whoever challenges him at WrestleMania. But that leads us to the main event. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship. The finish for this one came where Roman Reigns won after some interference and a whole bunch of chair shots. I don't think that's anything too surprising. I didn't think that they were going to pull a you know, kind of switcheroo and put the title on Sami Zayn, although they absolutely could have. The crowd was crazy hot for Sami and super negative for Roman Reigns. So, as expected. I mean, it's hometown boy, so... There's Roman and Commander Aziz. So tons of drama. I mean, this was, you know, wrestling at its best, right? Or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. Because there was tons of storytelling. There was some action, obviously. There was all kinds of just drama going on. So Sammy's wife was at ringside, and Roman kind of played that up and you know, taunted her and all that kind of stuff. And it came off really well, you know, made him come off as a big heel. But at the same time, when Sammy was making his comebacks, he was, you know, he went up and he saw his wife and he gave her a kiss, and the crowd was loving everything he was doing. And it was pretty incredible. You know, Roman, say what you will about him, the guy can definitely sell, especially in this heel role that he's in. And essentially, there were 2 ref bumps that led to some extra drama. So the first ref bump led to Jimmy Uso coming out and you know, beating on Sami Zayn quite a bit more. And then you had a second ref bump, which is when the mysterious Jey Uso arrived. And it was hard to tell whose side he was on. Reigns tried to get him to, you know, attack Zayn with a chair. He wouldn't do it. Ultimately, it led to a mistimed or miscalculated spear from Sami Zayn that took Jey out of the match. And then that led to Roman just delivering a ton of chair shots, followed by a spear while the referees were still down. And then the match finally ended with Reigns being victorious. After the match, obviously, there was some after-match shenanigans where they were going to try and beat down Zayn even more. But Kevin Owens, the other, I believe he's also from Montreal, so he got a heck of a pop when he came out and, you know, basically saved Sami, but didn't acknowledge him a ton, so it's still kind of a will they, won't they type thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. I mean, you clearly have Cody versus Reigns at Mania, and maybe you have Zayn and Owens versus the Usos, you know, especially if Jey decides he's going to take this mistimed spear as a you know, a slight, or, you know, just misinterpret exactly what it was. Obviously, it was an accident, but it's not unheard of for something like that to happen. And so really, I gave this match 4 titles because I think it's something that everybody should watch as well. It's hard to suggest how it could have been better. Maybe a little faster paced. It was definitely slow at times, but it was very, very good. And overall, as I did last time, basically took the titles for each match, totaled them up, divided by the amount of matches that we had to kind of give us the average, which gave us about a 2.8 since the whole show got 14 titles. And I don't deal in decimals, so deciding whether to round up or round down depended on, you know, some other outside factors. And this is definitely going up to a 3 due to the Montreal crowd. That crowd was electric. Like, I can't remember another crowd in recent memory, you know, over the last 5, maybe even 10 years that was that electric. They were so loud, so insane. It was pretty awesome. I definitely recommend checking out the pay-per-view if you get some time. And with that, we're down to our final pack. Let's see if we can get a little LPM, a little last pack magic here. We have Elias. We have Mace, or Mace, as they say now. Cedric. Been mixing these up. The Warrior and Bliss. Carmella. And Jimmy Uso. So we did end up getting one of the hits, and it's the autograph, which is pretty awesome. Not quite as nice as my out of 10 Seth Rollins over here, but a numbered to 199 Shotzi Blackheart. Absolutely. I will absolutely take that any day of the week. So that pretty much does it here. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this PLE, if you took the time to watch it, or maybe you checked out the highlights. Let me know what your favorite match was. Let me know what you disagreed with or agreed with in terms of my rankings and stuff. I'd love to hear that as well. But if you want to see more stuff like this, definitely head down below, hit that little subscribe button, check the little like button if you've enjoyed what you've seen. And that just about does it for me. This is Zach with Zach Attack Cards signing off. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.